Welcome back, tribe. We got a positive one here today from a channel called Willie McKinney. He says, young men from 18 to 29, a few lessons dad may not have gave you. Let's get into it.
I am the over 50 guy / the online dad. Listen, on today's video, I want to talk to you guys about manly mannerisms, or how you should be conducting yourself as a man, right? Listen, I come in contact with tons of young men every day. I work out in a gym where there are a bunch of young men at my employment. I come in contact with young men at stores. I just come into contact with a lot of young men. And I see a lot of things as far as how young men carry themselves nowadays, how they interact with other people, how they talk to other people in that. And it has prompted me to do this video for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of this behavior, a lot of these behaviors, or a lot of these mannerisms, you pick up early in life as a man. You pick them up from your father, or you pick them up from other young men. If you have an older brother, uncle, or some other man or older man that's close to you, you usually learn these things from them. But I understand in today's times and culture, you don't have, fathers in the home. And for the most part, a lot of you young men are learning these things on TV. You're learning them through video, or you're learning them through other interactions with other young men your same age. So I want to try to help you guys out with some things that I learned as a young man from older men as far as how to conduct yourself. And again, a lot of these things I learned from my father, and a lot of things I learned from other older men once I started working construction with my father at 19 years old. That for the most part, prior to that, guys, I was working jobs like any other young man would work, grocery store bagger, McDonald's,
bullshit jobs,
just regular jobs, right? But the thing was, these jobs were with people that were essentially my same age. You had a manager that was maybe older, but for the most part, I was around men or young men my same age, right? It wasn't until I got to working commercial construction that I was consistently around older men. And I learned some things during that time that I want to share with you today. First thing, young men, and this, you've probably heard some of these before, but I just want to deep dive on them a little bit more. The idea, young men, or behavior number one that I would want to talk about is when you are talking to someone as a man, as a young man, making eye contact with them. I can't tell you guys how many times I am talking to young men and they're looking down at the ground, they're looking around, they're doing everything but looking at me. And I learned early on from my father that, when you look at somebody, when you talk to them, it does two things. That number one, it says that you're confident, right? That you're confident in yourself, that you're not bashful, you're not shy, that you're confident in yourself. And then that you are not fearful of the person that you're talking with or the person that you're talking to, right? And that is so very important, young men. Like, that is something that I learned early on, and I do to this very day. And listen, a lot of these things aren't being like Billy Badass or trying to flex. These are things that as a man, you just do. That when you talk to somebody, you are looking directly at them, because when you're looking down, it gives off the vibe that you're unsure, that you're unconfident, that you don't have enough.
This also translates when you're speaking to women, by the way, and in a strange way too. So if you've ever heard a woman say you have the creep energy, that guy's got like a creep sort of vibe to him, that he's weird, shit like that. This is what they're talking about, essentially. The guy has the squirrely energy, jittery. That's when you're like, your eyes are like looking around. You're doing everything but looking at the person, holding a steady gaze, and just like that, we're having a conversation. It's intimidating because you probably come from a single mother household and you've probably seen it on TV. It's actually been socially engineered in you, because when you look on TV, how they describe nervousness, how they make these, like, say, anime characters appear when they're nervous, you actually got programmed to do those very things. So when you're watching your cartoons or your anime or whatever it is, movies, TV shows, the nervous character that's embodying that kind of energy is always looking down and away and like, not head on. with strong eye contact. That's seen as a big deal. So these kids that grow up with iPads, that grow up hardly ever socializing with friends, that, especially for the ones that had to stay home for COVID for those like couple of years, they lost a lot of social conditioning that they would have gotten, social like playtime and much needed skills socially is gone completely, and they've missed out. And then when you factor all this stuff in together, and you're already a fairly introverted person, I would guess, or self-conscious in some sort of way, that your brain, as you're talking to somebody, is already running a million miles per hour. What are they going to think of me? Oh my God. Are they going to notice the smudge on my shirt? Don't look at them in the eye. That's freaking weird. What if they're freaking weirded out by me being weird looking at them in the eyes? Okay, avert your gaze. Just look somewhere else. Okay, try not to be weird. They just asked me a question. Boom, and then you're back in the conversation. Oh, yeah. It's been a great day today. Oh, fuck, that sounds stupid. Bro, you got to calm down. We've all been there. I used to be that nervous too, believe it or not. I was also sheltered in that sense. As a kid, I just felt like, I don't know, strangers, adults were weird to speak to. Friends, I had to make new friends all the time. We were moving all the time. Switched countries. That was weird. Had to learn a whole new language, stuff like that. So I understand what it's like to feel kind of like not connected, an outsider, having to learn a whole new set of social skills if you never had them in the first place. But that jumpy thought process that you have, the insecurities that take away from a genuine connection of just speaking, hey, brother, how's your day been today? How are you doing? How are you actually doing? How are things? How's it been going? Just look them in the eye and just speak. Damn, that really happened to you? Like, I'm sorry that happened to you. That sucks. What are you going to do about it? Like, what's your plan going forward? Are you okay? How are you kind of dealing with that stuff, right? Just have a normal, because you're focused. Your brain is not jumping to a million different things. You're finally in the moment for once, just having a conversation. That's the point that you have to train yourself and get to. So when you meet people out in public, you're no longer jumping in that like jumbled thought process. When somebody asks you a question or you're speaking to someone, you look at them directly in the eye because you're interested in them and not so much interested in what they think of you and what you should be doing, how you should be behaving, and how you should be coming across. It's a very simple, hey, how are you? And then you come across far more natural. It's big in dating. It's absolutely huge. This is that aura, energy, vibe, whatever that women pick up on and call it out and say that they're very attracted to. This is what those guys are doing. They're there, eye contact, talking almost like he's looking into my soul. Oh, wow, he's so confident. His energy is so intense. This is the shit that they're talking about. It's the very basics.
Within yourself. You don't have enough man within yourself to look at someone when you talk to them. That is very important. Very important, because it sends a signal. It says a thing about you, right? You can be saying all of the right stuff. You can be answering questions the right way. But your mannerisms, this thing that you do, this unspoken thing that you do actually speaks volumes.
Body
There's the
language.
ideal of looking at someone to let them know that, number one, you're paying attention to them. And number two, you're confident and you're sure. You're not, as a man, you shouldn't be bashful and shy around other men. Listen, if you're bashful and shy around other women, I guess I can kind of get that, but certainly not around other men, right? So looking at a man directly in his eyes when you are talking to him or when you are addressing him is a masculine mannerism that you need to master, right? If you haven't done it, I know it may seem uncomfortable at first, but again, the signal or the message that it sends to whoever you're talking to is huge. It's huge. When I'm doing that when I'm speaking with young men and they're not looking at me, to tell them that, hey, I'm up here. You're talking to me, right? And a lot of times that snaps whoever I'm talking to out of it, but nobody should have to tell you that. You want to develop that on your own. Because as a man talking to another man, you shouldn't be looking down and looking away. It makes you look unsure.
Weak.
It
Makes you look weak.
I don't want to say weak, but it kind
Say
of
it.
does, right? When you're unsure, you're not confident and strong. So in a sense, it does make you look weak, right?
Tell
So
them the
that's
truth.
mannerism number one. You want to look another man that you're talking to, you want to look
Confident,
at him when you're
poised.
talking to him. And again, I'm not talking about looking at him like, you want to flex on him or looking at him like you sizing him up. I'm talking about just looking at him as he's talking to you, right? Again, that speaks volume. Another mannerism that I want to talk to you guys about is shaking hands. Shaking hands. See, a lot of these you've heard before.
Limp wrist.
I don't know if you've heard it in this way.
The limp
I had a
wrist.
guy,
Tell him.
Spike. I don't know Spike's last name, but I worked construction with him. And when I first went out on the first construction job that I worked with my father, I met Spike. My father, hey, this is my son. Hey, this is Spike. And he held his hand out. And I shook his hand, and I don't recall shaking it soft or whatever, but he made it very clear to me that, you know what, hey man, shake my hand like a man. Don't give me that weak shit. Shake my hand like a man. And from that moment forward, I had begun to do that. I never paid attention to it, guys, to be quite honest with you. Nobody never told me that, when I shake hands with somebody, I should have a very
Yeah, a firm handshake. And what's weird is the firm handshakes, I don't ever remember them. They just gloss over it in your memory. Like, yeah, that was a great handshake. I only remember the weird limp wristed handshakes that I've gotten from men that just weird you out entirely. Like I've had a guy, so I don't dap people up unless I really know you. And then I'll dap you up like you're in my close circle, right? But there's this one guy who I shook his hand. It's like, and he like grabbed, like, it was weird. Like this. He grabbed me like this. But it was like the weirdest limpy ass fucking wrist handshake I've ever seen in my life. And I was like, I grabbed his hand and his hand just like, just, I've had children shake my hand and address me in a more confident manner than that grown ass. Dude, I couldn't stop thinking about the fucking weakness of that handshake half of that day. And I still remember it today. It disgusted me. I'm like, ugh, what the fuck's wrong with you? And also, don't go to the extreme end and death grip somebody's fucking hand and try to like crush their whole fucking. Calm down. But what I'm saying is a nice, firm handshake. It's like announcing your presence without having to really announce it, right? It's here. I'm strong. I'm young. I'm vital. Whatever. I'm present. A good grip handshake. We are men. This is how you do it. Of course, you don't shake a woman's hand with that level of strength. You have a little bit more grace when you're shaking a lady's hand or whatever. But amongst men, we've even forgotten the handshake in society today. Insane. And then there's for the younger guys, when dap up your homies. Sometimes you meet a guy, you're getting introduced, mutual friends, whatever example has happened recently, go on a hike. Or your boys haven't seen mine in a long time. Dap, bro. That shit that echoes, when perfect. Bam. Just like that. Haven't seen you in years. Bro, the dap's immaculate. It just echoes out and through the fucking space and time. Perfect. Then you meet some dude with this weird energy and you got this weird, you know what I mean? Like every guy here knows what I'm talking about when I say that weird, like the synchrony of the it's not there for dapping up. It was like a weird dap and you just know the fuck something's off here. We're not connecting. But then you'll meet those random people and it's just like immediately, boom, we're all confident in the dap game 100%. You're like, I fuck with this guy. Okay. We started off great. Any man near here that's got friends and leaves the house knows exactly what I'm talking about. You remember the weird, awkward daps. You do.
A firm hand. I'm not talking about trying to squeeze the man's hands to death.
Exactly.
Yeah, your handshake should be firm. It should be firm because you're not a dainty woman. You are a man. You're a man. So, you know what? And I see it all the time. I meet guys in the gym, and a lot of times I do it purposely. I meet young men in the gym, and yeah, absolutely. Hey, man, what's your name? My name is, and I'll hold my hand out. And almost like this mushy,
bitch
no
ass hand
type of no strength in the handshake. Again, young men, all of this stuff says
bitch ass single mother raised. Tell them
something about you. It is nonverbal communication is what they call it. Nonverbal communication. And when you shake someone's hand and you don't shake it firm as a man, you give off that impression of
I'm a bitch.
timidity, being timid or being soft or that type of thing.
Oh
So
shit. Tell him.
there's things that can be done long before you open your mouth to another man that can say to them that
That you're a bitch, that you're a hoe. Tell him.
they're dealing with a man. They're dealing with a strong, confident man. They're not dealing with
Shit.
a weak, insecure, timid man. And shaking hands with a firm shake when you do that gives that
It's
off,
so true.
right? I'll never forget when Spike told me that. Every day after that, I made it a point that when I shook somebody's hand, and again, I wasn't trying to squeeze the life out of them, but yeah, it was a conscious effort to grab that hand and squeeze it to say, you know what? Yes, I am a man. I got some strength to me. I got some chutzpah. I got some nuts to me. I got some to me. My handshake ain't just like you're shaking a woman's hand, right? This stuff sounds, or it may sound to you guys very trivial, and it may sound very insignificant. But I will tell you guys from 50 something years of living that this stuff is real out here, right? That
Mm-hmm.
amongst other men, we talk about stuff like that. You know, somebody will come up and shake hands and walk away. And, you know, we'd be like, man, what was that weak shit? Shook my hand like a chick. Like, you know, we talk about that, right? So, guys, it really is the idea of these nonverbal cues, these nonverbal communications that are done amongst men that speaks volumes before you even open your
Truth.
mouth, right? So looking a man in his eye, shaking his hand firmly. Another thing that I would tell you guys, when I see a lot of you guys out and you're moving about, you look like you're moving, but you're moving with no purpose. You're just kind of strolling and you're just kind of, you know, I had another guy, Jack Turpinning. Jack Turpinning, as a laborer, I would have to go for tools and get stuff for the skilled laborers. So Jack would send me after a tool and I would go get it. And you guys have to understand when you're working construction or commercial construction, everything is time and money. There is no leisurely strolling out there. You got to be moving because you got to get stuff done quickly. So I would go get this thing for Jack and I'm coming back and he's watching me. I notice that he's looking at me as I'm walking back. And I'm walking back and he's looking and I come and I hand him the thing and he snatches it out of my hand. He says, you know what? Move with some goddamn purpose out here. And that kind of shocked me, like, you know, and he would go on to say, listen, this isn't McDonald's. This is a Burger King. This is a real job. You know, you want to move like you got something to do. Move like you got somewhere to go. Move with some purpose. And never thought about that. But as I look at young men now, and since that time, I do that. When I'm walking, I don't care if I'm going to get something or not. I walk with purpose. I walk with intention, right? And again, nonverbal cues. Other men can see this. Other men can see how you move out here. And when you're
Man on a
moving
mission.
around just kind of, you know, lazy daisy and not really aware and your head is down and you're just not, it sends a signal, young men. It absolutely sends a chest is out and you're moving like you are moving with a sense of purpose.
Mm-hmm. Is it so true, guys? Remember, 70% of communication is body language. It's not the words coming out of your mouth. This is why women pick up on this very, very acutely I'm telling you that you got to learn your body language, and that is halfway in the door already for a woman being attracted to you. And because I know a lot of guys will ask me, you know, well, how do you come up? What is confidence? What's the difference between like arrogance and confidence? Why does a woman think this guy is more confident than the other one? It's the body language. They're acutely aware of how you're behaving through your body because evolutionarily speaking, they were primed to snuff out fake confidence, you know, fake masculinity, all that stuff. That's what shows through your body language. So for example, and I relate this to dating and stuff because this part's very important. He's relating it to just how you should be as a man, rules between men, but here's the other side of it, how it applies to dating too. When you get shit tested by a woman, and part of what passing with flying colors mean, when she jabs at you, when she kind of pokes at your masculinity to see how you react, it's how your body reacts, not just your words, like saying something slick back, right? And turning it into a joke or turning it around on her or letting it roll off your shoulder. She's watching your eyes. She's watching your mouth. She's watching how your body is reacting to when she talks some shit. And if you have that calmness about you, the shit that he says, you don't break eye contact, you face her head on, you laugh back, come up with something witty and say it. Or, in general, if your body language signals that it was like a little grain of sand hitting you and falling off, like it didn't even register. And then the words that come out of your mouth authenticate that body language, they're all aligned. You just pass with flying colors. Women are always communicating in between the lines like this. They're seeing what you're saying matching up with what your body is doing. When there's a mismatch there, that's when they snuff out the, you're bullshitting me. You're not about that shit. That's not a real man right there. You're all words. You're all talk. Women sense this shit. So it's important in the world of men when you get into business too, a firm handshake. When I had my remodeling and construction company, I closed a vast majority of the jobs. That's how my business became successful so quickly. I had an insane close rate. I made people feel so at ease, so trusting. I was so confident in what I was doing. I knew and I believed that I was the best and that they would get a product, a service that was far superior to anybody else. And I simply would go to their houses, right? Let's just say I'm doing some upscale remodeling or something for some rich clients. Shake the man's hand, shake the woman's hand firmly enough. Ask them, what can I help them with today? What do we got going on here? And then they would walk through the entire house with me, whatever it is, if it was just a simple repair or a tire remodel or whatever it is that they needed done. And there's nothing about my body language, my energy, the words coming out of my mouth that this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This guy's not confident in the service that he's providing. He's unsure of himself. None of that shit. I made them feel at ease. This is easy. We can take care of this. No problem. Here's some photos. We've done similar work like this before. You won't even know a repair even happened. Of course, and this is what it will cost you most likely. There's also something else that you probably should know about, that once I start cutting into this wall, you might have some water damage behind it. You see your chimney has some holes up there. Do you know water's been leaking for years? There might be structural damage. I just want to point that out to you just in case. We'll show you beforehand, and if anything like that comes up, blah, 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 and we'll go through the entire motion. And by the time I'm done with them, and not only the moving with purpose stuff, I showed up right after they called. I would leave a job site, go to do the estimate while my workers were finishing up or whoever else. My father was finishing up because we'd work in teams in tandem. And I'll go, look, I have to go do an estimate. And he'd be like, no problem. I'll go finish the rest. I would go do estimates in fucking filled with paint, with cement, with, dusted up nasty. Hey, I just came off the job site. I wanted to take care of you right away. I don't need you to be waiting next week to schedule shit out. They appreciated that. So I didn't show up all buttoned down, perfect. I showed up in the work truck, covered in fucking material. And they knew, like, damn, this dude's real. Bright smile, talk to them, good energy, laughing, making jokes, making them feel at home. Yeah, totally. And that's why I was closing a ton. This stuff translates into business. And by the way, I learned about body language. I learned to be able to maintain eye contact. I learned all the shit through all my shitty jobs that I had. I worked as a server. I worked as a bartender, a bar back. I did all these weird. I worked the dude trying to sell you refrigerators at like Home Depot. I worked at Red Lobster, and I was serving in a chain shitty restaurant. I worked at other hole in the walls. I bartended at hole in the walls. I was bar backing at a nightclub, and I was just moving jugs and cleaning glasses from downstairs to upstairs, heavy ass jugs of fucking beer. All these weird jobs put me in these weird situations where by exposure, I became comfortable with all the things that he's talking about. And you need to become comfortable through exposure therapy. There's no other way. You can't just watch this video and be like, that's it. I decide to do this. You have to go out and practice it in the real world with real people until the nervousness, until the jittery kind of stream of consciousness goes away and you begin to be relaxed. I hated nightclubs. Didn't like too many people, lights, the women, holy fuck, there's so many hot chicks there, don't know what to do, don't know what to say, looking weird, holding my drink out on the side like this, like, oh my God, I don't really have the balls to say hello to a girl. By the time I was done with all these jobs and had gotten used to all this shit, and my friends forced me out to go to clubs, I could go to a nightclub because through exposure therapy, I drink water. I could have water in my hands, babysitting it, and people would be like, why are you babysitting water? Had a response. fully relaxed, paying the cover fee, don't even care that there's bitches walking in left and right. I already knew I'm going to go do a couple laps around the club. I'm going to find some hot chicks, go up to them and talk to them with my water in my hand, crack some jokes, make them laugh, ask them to dance. She's grinding on me. Either get her number or she's coming home with me that night. Guaranteed. That's it. And it was that simple, bro. Every night would go in with that fucking mission because that's exposure therapy. You don't question things anymore. You don't worry about shit anymore. You go to the club, you go to the bar, you go to wherever it is that you're trying to go and do whatever it is that you're trying to do. Expose yourself to that constantly until you become comfortable. Now, or I should say back then, if I compared myself, and this only, like, it was within a span of a couple of months to a year max. If I compared myself to the little hermit that loved to play video games that was sitting in his house all day to the dude that was going out clubbing all night, just smashing poon left and right, because that's all I knew what to do in college, wasn't hanging around with the brightest of the brightest. And we thought women made us feel like more men and more manly to have more bitches on you. It's all bullshit. But the fact is, through that exposure therapy, the person I was in my hermit state and the person I was when I could be confident going out to clubs, meeting people left and right, making friends left and right, were two completely different people, but I'm in the same body. I'm same face, same everything. It's not like I transformed into a new human being. You're the same guy right now, and you could be this guy through just behavior and getting those different results through how you act, through your body language, through the exposure therapy to make you more comfortable. This shit will change your life, change your business life, change your private life, personal life with friends, romantic life with women, everything, dude. 70% of speaking, of language, of talking, communicating, better yet, 70% of communication is body, which is also why it's so important to step one, lift, look good. In the red pill, that's what they tell you. Step one, what's the most important thing? Lift, bro. You got to lift. You got to have a decent body. Your body literally will communicate to you right away. Is he strong? Does he take care of himself? If you're fat as fuck, that's not communicating strength. If you're skinny as fuck, you're not communicating strength. You're not, and it becomes harder. You're making shit harder on yourself. So body first. Take care of your body and then your mind, and the results will follow. But anyways, if you want to see the rest of his video, his name was Willie McKinney. I'll link him in the description below, as usual. And we'll see you guys on the next one.